Good morning. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm going to be doing my what sold, which will be for the beginning of the month, January 2nd through the 5th, so Monday through Thursday. Sales have been okay, especially since, we were on vacation for 12 days. I didn't do a whole lot of listing because I had issues with the time away settings, and then I got sick. So I haven't really done hardly anything, and yet my sales have been consistent. So that's a good thing. But y'all, how many else of you guys are dealing with returns? I've had 8, which I sell a lot. So of course I'm going to have higher numbers than a lot of people. But almost all of them have been, they just changed their mind. The good thing about doing free returns is you don't get the forced returns that they automatically say item not as described. Usually you get the changed my mind, doesn't fit, things like that. And of those 8, only 1 has been a clothing item. But a lot of them have just been, didn't like it or whatever. But it's annoying. Luckily, so far 2 have been closed because they didn't return the item. So words of wisdom, don't automatically give people a refund. Just don't. No matter what they say is wrong with it, make them do a return because a lot of times they don't want to bother. So I've had 2 closed already. I've got 6 outstanding. 2 of them have shipped, so I'll be watching for them at my P.O. box. And then it's just a matter of wait and see. I only have 1 that they're claiming that Miss Teapot was broken or cracked. So I am insisting on it being returned because I may be able to sell pieces and parts. Or they're just trying to see if I'll give them a return because it is a larger box. It's part of the game. But this is why I'm top rated seller plus. My 10% return, my 10% credit on my final value fees far outweighs any return shipping that I have to pay. So it's still worth it to me, but it's annoying. It's annoying. But hopefully this will be the end of it. I see memes all the time that this is called Returnuary. Let's get to my solds. I'm feeling better, but I'm not sounding better yet. I had sales across all the platforms because the weekend before the New Year's, I did turn time away off in that way because I knew I wasn't going to have to ship till Tuesday. So finally got some sales going. So let's start with Poshmark. This first item was a Woolrich men's long sleeve button shirt. It sold for $20 on Posh. Jingle Pals, I was down to just 2 of these left. I picked them up a lot of times. This last time, unfortunately, at the bins, most of them were missing the battery covers, and I just opted not to pick them up. But anytime you see these, definitely check the comps. Some of them sell for quite a bit of money. And then there's ones like this. This is one of the probably more common ones. It sold for $18 on Posh. JCPenney's Rabbit, Year of the Rabbit. This was a 24-inch plush. It sold for $12. Manhattan Kids Dinosaur Lovey. I've started putting a lot of my loveys on Poshmark. It just seems to be another platform where parents go to look for a replacement. This dinosaur lovey sold for $22. And then these Miss America, oh, this is Mercari. This Miss America pageant magazines. Robert picked these up at an estate sale at some point. I just opted to put these 2 together. They sold for $15 on Mercari. And then this Ty Pluffies, Petey the Penguin from 2011. He sold for $24. All right, and then I had a couple of nice sales here on Etsy. I've got to do some more cross listing. This is a Fisher-Price Blue's Clues Puppy Puppet from 2001. It sold for $11.65. If you've not sold on Etsy and you're considering it, make sure, I don't do those ad fees. I just don't. Make sure you go in. You have to go in and physically turn them off. But Etsy actually has some of the lowest fees, I think. So I need to put more of my vintage stuff on there. This Blue's Clues sold for $11.65 if I haven't said that already. And then this is Miss Marissa Christina. That is actually a clothing line I learned. It's a advertising bear, I guess, for them. 16-inch from 1995. It sold for $32.35. And then these daggone blow molds. Put them off and put them off. I didn't sell all of them. Unfortunately, I waited till like the end of November to get them listed. But this is the Nativity Cow. I think it's more rare because a lot of times those ears get broken off. Mine did have its ears. It sold for $71.95 on Etsy. All right, and then eBay. Before I do this, Robert keeps trying to remind me I need to do my commercial. So if you're going on eBay or shopping elsewhere, you know, if you don't mind going in and clicking on some of my links, that way I get a small commission anytime you purchase anything, and it doesn't even have to be from my store. Also, you know, if you're considering using List Perfectly, Haulsale, American Bubble Boy, any of those, I do have links down in the bottom, and anytime you click on them, I get a small commission. And like with List Perfectly, you get 30% off your first month, which, you know, gives you plenty of time to test it to see if you like it. I absolutely love it. So just thank you very much for all the support you guys give us. Everything counts, right? All right, so eBay. These are Kellogg's Sesame Street. There was Toy Stories. There's other movies, but these were like little things that you could get out of cereal boxes. This Rosita seems to be the one that sells the best. She did have some condition issues. The tag had been cut off. But she still sold for $8.96. So anytime I see the little Kellogg mini beans, I pick them up. I may make small lots depending on, you know, if it's Sesame Street or Toy Story or any of the others, the Disney characters. But they are just great bread and butter. Commonwealth. This was a brown moose deer. Had a cute little mouse on his antler. From 1993, it sold for $17.95. A lot of my plush I pick up at yard sales, estate sales, and the Goodwill bins for very cheap. I think people are starting to understand just how cheaply you can source plush, and they make a decent profit. This is Scentsy Buddy. This was the Ori, the Orca killer whale. It sold for $15, best offer. It did not include a scent pack. Little Kittles. I find these once in a while. They're very unique looking. It's only 2 inches tall. And that head is like 1 inch of it. And then it's got this teeny tiny little skinny body. They are by Mattel. And they're highly collectible. This one I only think I had listed for less than a week, and it got a best offer of $10.50, so I went ahead and accepted it. These art books, I bought a bunch at an estate sale. I've already sold. The largest lot was on Etsy for over $200. I paid $0.25 each for the books, and then I divided them up by just the types, or you know, who was the manufacturer. So these 9 books were just painting mixed media types, sold for $25.16. I think I have 1 or 2 more lots of them. Jordache skinny jeans, these sold for $13.25. Tonka Pound puppies, I pick these up all the time, and then I make lots of like 2 or 3, whether it's the dogs or the cats. Some of the minis do really well, but these sold very quickly, $13.45. Mowbray Bear Plush just was unique looking, and I wanted to show this sold for full asking price of $9.95, which meant I had done the delete and sell similar. Even through all of the sickness, I have tried to keep up with that. I have an alarm set on my phone at 5 o'clock every evening, and that is just my reminder to go in and do my delete and sell similars. And what I do is I go in and sort by listings that are about to end, the ones that are ending today, and go ahead and end them, and then do sell similar. Dansko, Savannah, Mary Jane, Black Shoes. You got to be careful with Danskos. Make sure that you give them a good twist, kind of try to bend them the best you can, because they are renowned for dry rot if they've sat any amount of time. And then you'll get that message from the buyer that says, I only wore it for an hour and they fell apart. And it really does happen. I don't pick them up a lot, especially if Robert's not with me, because I don't have the strength to twist them. But these sold for best offer of $20. Dimdaco, which is Nat and Jules, is cute pink unicorn. It sold for $10.40. B Toys, I'm pretty sure that's Target. B being Batot from 2016. It did have its little paper tags and everything, but I never list anything new, even if it's got paper tags. I don't, because I did not buy it new. I bought it at a thrift store or Goodwill, and that's how I'm going to list it. Less chances of getting an irate buyer. Sold for best offer of $10. Disney Parks. I make sure if you ever look at a tag and it says Disney Parks, make sure you put that in the description. Sometimes it does, they do seem to sell better than just regular Disney store or anything like that. This was a Big Feet Stitch plush. Got lots of lowball offers. I waited it out. It did have a little bit of discoloration in his ear, which I noted. He sold for $22.52. I get questions all the time on why the oddball numbers. It's because I list everything hard good wise and toys with the 95, and then almost always my store is on sale, and then I do send out offers, so it makes the numbers get really odd. Sometimes people will send me so that it's an odd number, but when they see by the time they've paid shipping and taxes and everything, it's an even number for them. So that is why. This is a order that somebody ordered 2 of them. I've had these listed forever. I really thought that they would sell quicker than they have. These are Williams Sonoma cup and saucers. Each one of them, I had like 5 or 6. Each one was a different like winter drink. These 2 were mulled cider and hot chocolate. They sent me an offer of $12 for each set, which I went ahead and accepted. So $24 for the 2 sets. I'm pretty sure at the thrift store I paid like $5 for all of them. So it took a while. Have you guys been noticing now on each of your items, if you go into the order number, it's starting to tell you, how much all of your fees were right on that screen. So I do have promoted listings on everything. I have it set for suggested with a cap at 10%, but I also have a +2. So if it's trending at 6%, and it gets purchased, I'll probably be charged the 8%. I'm going to stick with it. I think it has made a major difference in the numbers of sales that I received, especially during 4th quarter. I changed it right before 4th quarter. And yeah, it stinks having to pay so many fees, but I know how much I paid for this stuff. So it's still very much profitable for me, but you can see here where it shows the sales tax collected, my transaction fees, the shipping label, and then the ad fee standard. Yeah, $3.74 on a $24 order. It's okay. All right, carnival style plush. I pick them up if they're cute, if they're clean, because a lot of times you gotta wait for that specific buyer. It is long tail, and it needs to be boxed because the way that they're stuffed, you don't want to throw them in a poly bag or anything because it's going to tear them. It's going to disfigure them. But I still sold this Genie Toys Frenchie dog, $12. Kate Spade, I picked up 4 of these at an estate sale, I think earlier, way earlier last year, because I remember it was cold out there. I want to say I paid $2.50 each. I went on half price day and they had all their mugs for $5. But this person sent me an offer of $20 for 2 of them each. So I went ahead and accepted, and then all of a sudden I've sold another one. It's funny how that happens, right? And it sold for the $26.95, my sale price. But sometimes it's like you take an offer and then all of a sudden you start seeing more activity on these multi-quantity listings. So I was very happy, $20 for 2 of the mugs. Another viewer sells, so thank you so much, Kathy. She said she's trying to have her husband watch these videos because she's ready for him to maybe semi-retire, maybe she's thinking retire and help her do this eBay business like Robert and I do. But thank you so much. She sent me an offer on this Mioni by Aurora dog plush, sold for $8.98. Sorry, my voice is going. Jellycat, love Jellycat. Most of them though, unfortunately, are bread and butter usually. This one was a nicer one. It was a Bungley pig plush, sold for $28.45. Gans, Louis Rabbit. He's 22 inches, sold for $19.81. This is from my online high bid auction, that auction that just keeps on giving. When Robert went to put away all of the stuff from the Goodwill bins trip that we just came back from, he moved all of the stuff that was still in there from the previous bins trip and the rest of the high bid auction stuff out of that room. So now it's sitting over there glaring at me, tormenting me to go ahead and get that stuff sorted through and listed. Working on it. This is there was a whole like paper bag that was full of these type Applause zipper straws. There was Lion King and just different characters. I went ahead and put some of them together if they were from the same series. But this was a Muppets Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy, sold for $12.20. Jellycat again, cute cat, $14.20. Make sure when you're listing Jellycat that you take a picture with the tape measure, because Jellycat collectors are very specific on which size they want, and sometimes they don't measure what I expect. You know, for all I know, this could have been a 10-inch kitten or a 12-inch kitten. So I just make sure I include a picture of the tape measure with it. This is another viewer sale, so thank you so much, Ashley. She said she watches all my videos, so I so appreciate that. She bought this Gons Webkins tie-dye frog. Still had its code for best offer of $10. Threshold stoneware. I think Robert picked these up somewhere. It was like a couple of bowls and a couple of mugs. It was just kind of one of those small things. Maybe it was in a fill-a box or something. I don't quite remember. But this is the second set that sold, the 2 cereal bowls for $17.05. And if you're new to my channel, I do not do free shipping at all. So when I say it sold for that amount, the buyer did pay additional for shipping. Wishes and Kisses, Bear Lovey. I pick up all Loveys. Most are like this, are bread and butter. My bread and butter I consider like 8 to 12, and I sell a ton of stuff in that price range. But when you're only paying a quarter 50 cents for stuff, it's very profitable. I'm going to be doing a video to show you guys just how my year was last year overall. But it sold for $9.45. Lee Women's Jeans. We sell a bunch of Lee. $18.68. This was from the original Bins 10 challenge that I did for Bolo Bodie's channel. It was just, I had a really hard time finding stuff that was media mail, but I found these Floyd Kramer piano CDs. Never heard of him before, but when I checked, it did seem to have decent comps, so I put these three together. They sold for $13.25. These license plates, we bought a bunch. I listed maybe a dozen of them. I haven't really gotten to them yet, but this is the first one to sell. It was a Tennessee license plate from 1986. Sold for $12.30. Dandy, Humphrey the Bear. This was one of the smaller 8-inch plush. Again, did a delete and sell similar, and he sold immediately, $9.95. Russ Pink Dog Plush. This is not even quite 4 inches. It's one of the clip-ons, $9.45. If that was purchased at the bins, probably not even a nickel in price, so I'm good with that. Nanco, not one of my favorite brands, but they do quite a bit of character toys. This was Sad Sam. His little friend or girlfriend is Honey. I usually pick up any and all of them. They just have their own little collectability with collectors. Sold for $9.45. This was somebody who purchased 3 things from me. I don't know if they are a viewer. I don't think so. But just kind of a hodgepodge. 2 jelly cats and then the wildlife artist bat. Paid $33.26 for the 3 plush. This sold immediately. I had gone in and looked up Dakin Dream Pets. Most of them sell for, if they're some of the older ones, for about $10. There were quite a bit listed for about $10, but there were no bees. So I went ahead and it did have its paper tag, so I knew he was called Busy Bee. Sold immediately, $9.95, and I'm pretty sure it was an international order. Fisher-Price Loving Family Dollhouse. Pick up a lot of that at the bins. In fact, I was digging through a bins at St. Louis and found tons and tons that I was just grabbing as much as I could, which is fun though too, because then these other women were there with me and they started handing me all of the ones that they were finding. So I love, people who don't see this as a competition. They were helping me find as much of it as I possibly could. So for these 3 pieces, $12.30. Picked this up at, I think, my little favorite estate sale that we go to on Wednesdays. This is vintage Valentine's Day cards from 1991. Kermit the Frog, sold for $18.95. Advertising mugs. I pick them up. Sometimes they're bread and butter, and then there's one like this. I had done a delete and sell similar, and it sold before my sale started. So General Electric coffee cup mug, $29.95. Christmas, definitely still selling after Christmas. This is a holiday time musical animated Mrs. Claus. Sold for $25, best offer. Walmart. I love vintage Walmart. I do very well with vintage Walmart. This is just a 19-inch long lamb sheep plush, $23.95. Care Bear Cousin and Cousins coloring books. I purchased these recently at an estate sale right before we went on vacation. Picked up, I want to say, 8 coloring books that had never been used. All of them were vintage. I decided, I think I've already sold the Rainbow Bright for $25 for 2. And then I put the 2 Care Bears together and sold them for $25. I paid $1 each for them, so definitely keep your eyes open for vintage coloring books. Squishmallows. I don't like Squishmallows. I bought like 9 at a yard sale one day. Paid $50 for the 9. I'm pretty sure he was part of it. Don't know for sure. But I've been steering away more from them because they just don't sell well for me. And then this was a large one, 16-inch, $27.50. And then my best sell, and was very surprising, is this Wallace Berry Bubba Gorilla from 1982. I think when I showed him, I was like, probably will sell for, $15 or so. And then I looked up comps. So I love when I have little pleasant surprises like that. But Bubba just seems to be one of the ones that's harder to find. $32. So nice sale. As you can tell, no big grand slams, but when you add it all up, it was a good 4 days. I'm going to try to work today. I literally have not been doing anything. This is like day 9. So, but I sound bad, but I really don't feel bad today. So we'll see how it goes. I may wind down quicker than I expect, but I'm going to try. I've got to get stuff processed. I've got to make another haul video so I can keep, showing you guys some of the stuff, and in the meantime get stuff processed. I'm determined probably the next 2 or 3 months before yard sale season to really focus on my profit piles, all the bags of stuff, all the estate sale finds that I've showed you guys that I haven't been getting listed, because it's money tied up. I've spent the money. Now it's time to get it listed so I can get it sold. So that's the goal. That's the goal. And then hopefully Robert can get a whole bunch of the clothes done too. All right, get to work. Bye.